and is currently facing grand theft charges.
Abuse.
That's the thing with these places is you have no evidence. You don't have a phone there. They don't have cameras there. Like, there's no evidence of none of this.
Dysfunction.
You want to play games? Yeah, you want to watch me?
Today we'll tell the story about a young woman who took her 15 minutes of fame and turned it into a multi-million-dollar career. And with this, many wonder if there will be any societal consequences for rewarding such bad behavior on a national level. Danielle Bregoli was born on March 26, 2003 in Florida. By all accounts, she had a fairly troubled upbringing, being raised solely by her mother, Barbara Ann. Danielle's father had left the family when his daughter was still very young. Despite this though, both her mother and grandmother described her as a sweet young girl. That is, until she grew into adolescence. The internet was first introduced to Danielle on September 14, 2016, when she appeared on the Dr. Phil show in the episode, "I want to give up my car-stealing, knife-wielding, twerking 13-year-old daughter who tried to frame me for a crime." As the program's host, Phil McGraw, explained, Barbara Ann had been regularly emailing him for 3 years asking for his help. It turned out that, as she aged, Danielle had gone from a perfect angel into a demon. The episode began with the host recounting the story of his crew going to the Bregoli household to visit the stressed-out mother and her troublesome daughter. At the time of this meeting, a producer by the name of Brittany realized her car keys were missing. When they went outside, they made the horrifying discovery that the tween had stolen her car and gone on a joyride. Police were soon called and spent all night searching for Danielle, who eventually returned on her own accord at 3 o'clock in the morning. Despite the fact that she was now home though, the girl would not give up the car keys. It wasn't until her mother wrestled them out of her hand that she finally relented. This was just a small taste of the debauchery Danielle had gone up to. She had stolen her mother's car several times in the past, as well as cash from her purse and her credit cards, which she had used to purchase over $6,000 worth of items. These purchases included a stripper pole which she installed in her bedroom. Even though she was merely 13 years of age, the rambunctious child was already behaving in a very provocative manner. Barbara Ann provided a video she recorded after another car theft incident, in which her daughter taunted her by twerking while wearing nothing more than underwear. As if this weren't bad enough, the distraught woman also alleged that Danielle frequently physically assaulted her and used a knife to carve explicit phrases into the walls of their home. At its best, Danielle's behavior was bothersome and destructive. At its worst, it was downright criminal. The most extreme story Barbara Ann told about her daughter involved Danielle taking sugar and placing it into a Ziploc bag in order to make it resemble heroin. She then called 911 to inform them that her mother had been snorting the drug. When they arrived on the scene though, police were immediately suspicious. Danielle soon fessed up to her lie, and she was detained for abusing the emergency service line. This was the final straw for Barbara Ann. She spoke tearfully to Dr. Phil, claiming that she was ready to give up on her daughter. Even she didn't know exactly what she meant by this, but it was clear the overworked mother had reached the end of her rope. When Danielle was finally brought out on stage to discuss her behavior, she appeared completely dismissive. In fact, she looked like she was proud of herself, as Phil listed off her various misdeeds. The one thing that seemed to perturb her was the show's audience cheering every time the celebrity psychologist tried to bring her back down to reality. This resulted in Danielle snapping at the crowd, challenging them with her thick accent to catch her outside.
Catch me outside, how about that? Catch me outside, how about that?
The episode ended with Phil offering his young guest an ultimatum. Either she agreed to therapy at Turnabout Ranch in Utah, or his producer Brittany would press charges for the theft of her car. Danielle chose the first option, and was sent off to the facility as soon as the cameras were turned off, although not without one last screaming fit. While this may have seemed like an average episode of the Dr. Phil show on the surface, the level of popularity it would go on to achieve was unlike anything that could have been predicted. And with that, a star was born. We'll learn more about this after a brief word from our sponsor. Eating healthier and losing weight can be extremely tough when you have a busy life. It's all too easy to go out and buy some takeout food, but luckily there is a better alternative, Factor. Factor makes meeting your nutrition goals easier than ever by delivering fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals right to your doorstep. No matter your lifestyle, Factor has delicious, flavor-packed meals to help you live to your fullest, with keto, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and protein plus options on their menu each week. So how does it work? Well, you order the meals you want off the website, they'll deliver them fresh to your house, and all you have to do is pick out which one you want to eat at any given time, pop it in the microwave or oven, and there you go. And the greatest part is that not only are these meals faster than takeout, but they're also cheaper in most cases. With Factor, you enjoy the clean eating of meal prep without any of the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door, ready in 2 minutes, no prep, no mess. As a person who's lost a decent amount of weight themselves, I can say options like Factor have significantly increased my ability to maintain a healthy weight. And not only do they have the main course meals, but also snacks and smoothies, which I also really enjoy. With Factor, there is always something good to eat in my fridge. So head on over to factor75.com or click the link down below and use code GFM50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. At that price, you cannot lose, and I highly recommend everyone that's looking to eat healthier try out Factor. Even though she was sent there in order to calm down her destructive behavior, Danielle's time at Turnabout Ranch was not as therapeutic as one might expect. Allegedly, she and her fellow patients had experienced torturous conditions, harsh punishments including denial of food and warmth, and grueling work hours. Danielle had even been present when a boy named Clay went on a rampage, killing one of the counselors and brutally injuring another. Her story was not even the most horrific account of the conditions at Turnabout Ranch, as explained on a previous video on this channel. Regardless, she made it through, and at the end of 2016, Danielle returned home to discover that she was now a celebrity. The clip of her lashing out at the audience on Dr. Phil had caught on like internet wildfire, and the phrase "cash me outside" had become a meme overnight. Something about the teen's brash demeanor had struck a chord with millions of people in a way no other daytime talk show guest had ever done. Of course, with this sort of instant popularity, many people were quick to try and capitalize on it. Several outlets, including Walmart, began selling knockoff merch with the now famous catchphrase printed on it. Danielle was having none of this though, and threatened lawsuits against all of these stores, with her new legal representation. It turned out she was also eager to make a profit off of her unexpected success, and started charging a minimum fee of $30,000 for appearances at events. It's not uncommon for people who find viral success in this manner to try to monetize it as much as possible. But Danielle obviously had a good PR team behind her, and wanted to ride this wave further than anyone thought possible. In 2017, she partnered with manager Adam Kluger and began releasing music under the name Bhad Bhabie. Her first song, These Hoes, actually charted on the Billboard Hot 100, making Danielle the youngest female rapper to ever achieve such a feat. This success soon earned her a deal with Atlantic Records, with whom she produced a plethora of new tracks featuring several other hip-hop stars. This left many onlookers scratching their heads, wondering how someone who should have been nothing more than a flash-in-the-pan internet meme became a mainstream sensation. With the in-your-face attitude displayed during her appearance on the Dr. Phil show, it should come as no surprise that Danielle has gotten into her fair share of trouble over the course of her career. Her first major beef started in November of 2018, when she was recorded throwing a drink at fellow rapper Iggy Azalea in a Hollywood nightclub. This seemingly unprovoked attack was apparently the result of Azalea insulting Bhad Bhabie on social media. While Danielle continued her feud with the much older hip-hop star for a while afterward, Iggy never really engaged in the drama. Clearly, she needed to find a target her own age. Danielle's next public celebrity fight was with child star Sky Jackson in early 2020. What needs to be understood is that around this time, Bhad Bhabie had been spending a lot of time with a rapper by the name of NBA Youngboy. whom Jackson was allegedly also interested in romantically. The two young women exchanged heated messages between one another, finally culminating in Danielle threatening to kill Sky during an Instagram livestream. The actor clearly took this statement seriously, filing a restraining order against the rapper soon after. Danielle, true to form, didn't seem at all fazed by this development, and the restraining order was later dropped. Also in 2020, it was reported that Danielle had been admitted into a rehab facility due to an apparent addiction to prescription medication. She was released just a month later, and insisted that she never actually had a drug problem, and her mother had simply assumed the worst when she discovered the pills in her daughter's possession. Despite this, the young performer actually claimed to have enjoyed her stay at the treatment center, stating that she quote-unquote needed some time away. While many celebrated Bhad Bhabie's meteoric rise to fame and others were simply confused by it, there were some who found it despicable. Her father, Ira Peskowitz, came out of the woodwork in order to file an updated custody suit for his child. The prior agreement had given full custody to Barbara Ann, with Ira receiving liberal visitation privileges. However, with the recent media frenzy, the absentee father demanded the right to make decisions regarding his daughter's life. He believed that Danielle was being exploited by her mother and the producers surrounding her, and that Hollywood was no place for a girl her age. In addition, he also wanted to regain some amount of custody so his offspring could come live with his family, and hopefully receive a proper upbringing. As time went on, Ira's claims only became more severe. In 2020, he made an online post accusing Barbara Ann of beating their daughter. This statement infuriated Danielle, causing her to go as far as to say she wanted to file a restraining order against him. While her father continues to object to his child's celebrity lifestyle even to this day, it has not stopped Danielle from climbing higher and finding new sources of revenue. And if her dad wasn't happy with what she was doing before, her next venture would do little to improve things. Since day one, Danielle's public image had been tied to explicit and provocative imagery, with the infamous stripper pole and twerking videos that were showcased on the Dr. Phil show. This continued to be a vital part of her career, as she frequently wore revealing clothing and included vulgar lyrics in her music. While this was undeniably a successful marketing strategy, many were outraged by how closely this minor's brand had been linked to the topic of sex. In spite of the objections though, Bhad Bhabie was all too happy to play into this side of her persona. In April of 2021, mere days after turning 18, Bhad Bhabie created an account on OnlyFans in order to sell access to risque photographs of herself. Just 6 hours after going live, the young rapper reportedly earned $1 million on the platform, becoming the most successful launch in OnlyFans history. After only a year, she claimed to have accumulated a whopping $50 million in revenue from the site. While there were obviously a great deal of people who were excited by this news, others were horrified by the thought that so many were waiting for this child to reach legal age so they could begin sexualizing her fully. Among these critics was none other than her father, who stated in no uncertain terms that he believed his daughter to have been groomed into this line of work by the adults around her. The rise and fall of Bhad Bhabie is like nothing the internet has ever seen before. Most internet memes fizzle out after a few weeks, but she managed to transform 15 minutes of fame into 7 years and counting. While nobody knows for certain what the future holds for Danielle Bregoli, if she maintains this trajectory, it's unlikely she will be leaving the limelight anytime soon. So there you have the story of a woman that was rewarded with financial gain on the internet for her bad behavior, at least in the short term. And with that, I think I'll end the video here. So until next time, thanks for watching.